Today on the Venator update, we're rebuilding the bridge. Hey guys, I'm glad to be back at it again for week 64 of building my custom Venator. We took about 3 weeks off, I want to say, just because of how many things I had to do with school this past week with midterms, building the UCS Venator to compare it to my Venator, and making so many repairs to make my Venator perfect. Literally, for repairs on this project, we had to work on the bottom panels and rebuild them all. We had to rebuild the entire bottom panel on both sides, which was a huge amount of effort to do, considering they were completely destroyed and they took so long to build. So we had to do that, we had to fix the interior, and then we had to fix the bridge. There was a lot of things to fix, so that's why we haven't really made much in the ways of progress. We've just been really repairing things from that incident we had a few weeks ago. But this week, I think we're about caught up to where we were before, so we're going to be actually taking a look at the bridge this week. So let's get into this update without further ado. Yo, editor Will here. Forgot to mention this, but MOC Productions actually gave a huge shout out to the Venator series.
I know of Will, I see him comment on my videos all the time, and I have seen his Venator a little bit. So let's check this out. He made a comparison video. His Venator is not done yet, but it is absurdly large. I do wonder if it actually is the world's largest, like you said, because I know there are some other very large Venator MOCs from like the mid 2000s that were made. I don't know if they are bigger exactly or not.
Yeah, theirs is not bigger. I mean, maybe, but they use the steel beam and they're from the Lego group, and I don't think it's bigger. I think mine's bigger. Plus mine has an interior. That trumps them, right guys? Please?
Scary prospect, but good for him. Crazy build, insane, insane, insane.
3 insanes from MOC Productions equals you subscribing down below, so please subscribe guys. So beginning to take a look at the Venator. Wait! I'm sorry, my room is messy, but I wanted to get this update out.
You don't have to apologize for your room being messy. You got an update out, so I just
You know what? That's fair.
Yeah.
But I'm too busy to clean my room. Okay. Beginning to take a look at the Venator update this week. The first thing we're going to be getting into is the Venator's bridge. Now, as you can see, we all have attempted to do this in the past. However, it seems to be a bit thick, I'm not gonna lie. So I definitely want to try and make it smaller. So I was looking at some pictures earlier, and I think the smallest you can make it is like maybe 7 wide. I think that'd be a good width for, you know, the width of this bridge. Right now it's currently 8 wide, so let me know what you guys think about that. I'm gonna be working on that in a little bit. Alright, so we made some small amount of progress. We decided to basically use this original base as a 1x5, which is why it looks like this. However, I am working on this section currently, trying to get these 2 sections to connect, because this section is a little bit thinner than this section, and then this section is the thickest. So I'm trying to account for all these things. However, this is using a Lego brick technique, which doesn't work the best in this situation. So it looks good right now actually, I'm surprised, but this is not legal. You see how that brick's coming down as I push down these plates to make sure that they're nice and flush? So that is something I'm working on figuring out right now, because it just is not legal, and I'm not sure how to connect these bricks together without making that happen. So that is an issue I'm working on solving right now. But overall, I think this is coming along really nice. I have decided to keep the back side 8 wide. And I mean, I don't feel like it's too big on the Venator. Like, it's not even super noticeable. It might actually be bigger now that I think about it. Which is kind of a good thing. You know, more space to work with is always good, because then you can add more detail, which is why I made this thing so freaking big. But, you know, I'm pretty happy with how this is coming out so far. So I was working on the top of the bridge over here, and I was thinking, this really seems kind of boxy. I don't really like boxes in my architecture models at school. So I was thinking, why does this look so boxy? Lego's one doesn't look so boxy. But then I remembered that, oh wait, let's look at the reference images, and it is actually this boxy. There's a small curve towards the front of it, but for the most part, it really is just a box. And I kept looking at more and more images, and all of them just showed boxes. So I guess this is how it's supposed to look. However, I was just surprised by that, so I wanted to mention that to you guys. So over here, there is a section that we're trying to figure out. So right here, this is smooth like this, and then it has like an overlay layer like this, which is interesting to say, because this one's actually extruded out. You see, this whole time I thought it was inwards, but it's not. It's actually extruded out, which is so fascinating to see. So that is something I'm working on. I just want to make this as accurate as possible. So we made some more progress on this one, but then I was really trying to figure out this back solution as we were talking about earlier, and I'm like, this is not going to work because you can't round it off nicely. It won't look good. So then I thought of a new solution. I was thinking about potentially doing it with all SNOT, which is genius because then we can manipulate any like size that goes in and out. However, the thickness variable is different, which I don't love. However, this is a solution that I may be using for this project because I've been doing this whole thing in SNOT. And if you look underneath here, this doesn't look that clean compared to something like this, which is absolutely clean, which is something I've been doing with this whole Venator. You know how clean it is, it's all SNOT. So I think this makes more sense for my Venator personally, but it might be very hard to figure out just because these can't really be manipulated into ways of thickness unless you did like 1 by 1 and then 1 by 2. So I don't really know if I'm going to go with this solution, but I'm going to try to prototype this one a bit more, and then I'll let you guys decide which one I should do. So I may have gotten carried away with this Venator bridge, so let's take this one off. Look at how amazing this looks. This is so accurate to the one I'm trying to recreate. It has these slopes that are bigger than this center slope, and then these slopes are jetted out just a little bit, and it's so smooth. It's amazing. However, it's way too big. This is the original versus the new one. So yeah, this is a bit too big. It's really unfortunate because the design for it is actually incredible, and I really think it would be beautiful if it was not too big for the rest of the Venator. I think it would be, but I don't know if there's a way I can mod this SNOT technique to really do this because these are the bricks that were given by the Lego group, and I feel like I based it off the size of this, and I just made everything in proportion bigger compared to these. So maybe that's the issue versus this one, which is way thinner than these, so I was able to scale everything down. I'm going to be working on this a bit more, but just wanted to show you guys a scale and size comparison. Okay, so I think we have the third and final iteration of this Venator bridge. So this is the length of the Venator bridge. It's actually not as long yet because I haven't built the front part of it. Obviously, I've mainly been working on the back and figuring out some of these SNOT techniques, which has been very complicated. I've actually only figured out this one. This one, as you can see, is not perfectly lined up yet, so I only figured out one SNOT technique for the top section, but I'm still working on it because I've been prototyping with this idea for a while. So we managed to get it down to the right size and still keep the SNOT, which I think is great. I think that's going to look really nice and clean on the Venator. There's still a lot of things to figure out, which I hopefully will be able to with the bricks Lego produces, but we'll have to see. I'm not going to use any off-brand bricks, that's for sure, but I'm just saying, hopefully the scale doesn't have to change based off of the pieces that are available from Lego. Because I feel like that's really what drives this design, was the pieces available from Lego, so I kind of just read off this slope and a bunch of other things, and I'm like, hey, this works for the size and pieces that Lego makes at the right angles, you know? Let's try to do that. But that ends up being literally half the size of the bridge length that we have available for us. So this bridge obviously didn't work, and then we also had this other bridge right here, which did work, but it wasn't SNOT, and I thought the SNOT idea. So this has been 3 iterations of the Venator bridge. Actually 4 if you think about it, because I had to resize this one like maybe 5 times to make sure we got it right. Not 5 times, like maybe two or three times to resize this one to get it right. But yeah, we spent a lot of time on this week. We haven't made much progress, but I hope next week we can continue to develop this idea now that we have the scaling right. So unfortunately, that's going to wrap it up for this week on the custom Venator update. A little bit of a shorter update. I really am disappointed with how little time I was able to put into this project this week, considering we've taken like 2 weeks off of this series. But I am glad to see we are getting some progress done on the bridge at last, and I can place those orders that we desperately need for the parts for the bridge now that we actually have somewhat of an idea how it's going to be built. Next week, we're going to continue to work on the bridge, I think, because we still do need to do a lot of work with it, and I do still have a lot of parts we can add to the bridges on this project, so I'm super excited to get into that. Without further ado, I say peace out, stay subscribed, and come back next week to see, hopefully, a more completed bridge. Did I just say more complete? Is that grammar, right? Yeah, maybe, I don't know, guys. This is blooper reel here. I'm in the computer lab of my school studying, and I'm just lucky I was able to get out this update because I am so tired. Yeah, and also my room is messy. I also apologize because I have no time to clean it. I'm just happy I was able to get this update out. So make sure to smash that like and subscribe button. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out and good night.